Hey everybody, it is Rick. I'm here with October reviews from the third week of October. Only 5 movies to talk about today, 2 of which were on Amazon Prime, the other 3 were on physical media. We're going to dive right in. The first title we're going to talk about is a DVD. It's a film I've never seen before. Bridget and I checked it out, and this is the unrated director's cut of the film that we watched. I believe the initial version of this was PG-13, if I'm not mistaken. As a film called Stay Alive. So Stay Alive came out in a year. 2005 or 2006, I believe. Stars John Foster, Sophia Bush, Frankie Muniz, Samari Armstrong, Jimmy Simpson. Basically a movie that was ahead of its time in a way. I remember this being extremely popular when it came out. When I worked at Walmart, there was a blue cover, which I believe was the regular theatrical version, and then the red cover was the unrated version, which was a very common thing they did back in the day. I'd never seen it. The movie's been out 15 years. Figure why not check it out this spooky season. Like I said, this movie is way ahead of its time. Lots of like VR horror game things involved in this movie that in the last couple of years have really come to fruition in like real life kind of, well, the horror game aspect, the VR aspect has come to life. But other than that, the movie is really predictable. Gave off Sci-Fi Channel vibes, especially with the performances in it. And I guess a lot of people think this is like one of those so bad it's good movies. Not for me. It's just so bad it's so bad. Not going to make the shelf. This gets a 1 out of 5. This was pretty brutal. Definitely don't recommend this one. It was a bit of a stinker to me. So Stay Alive, not making the shelf, getting removed. Next up was a title that was sent over to me from Lionsgate to review. Did a review video on the channel, an unboxing video, but we're going to talk about it a little more, and that is The Protege, which stars Maggie Q, Samuel L. Jackson, and Michael Keaton. Saw the trailers for this and was intrigued because of Michael Keaton starring in the movie. Normally, this movie would have been like, oh, it's pretty by the book, looks pretty standard. And Michael Keaton being in the movie made it a lot more intriguing to me. I'm really a fan of his work. Was also intrigued because he was kind of advertised as the villain in the film, which Michael Keaton has played the villain, but wasn't really expecting that for a movie like this. So I also had gripes with something they were showing in the trailer for this movie, but now watching the movie, I kind of get why they did it. I'm not going to go into what that is. That's spoiler territory. But the movie was an interesting story. It was a fun movie. Lots of violence, lots of just like spy thriller things, if you will. Some funny lines, some good action sequences. Just like a good, solid movie. A movie I found to be very entertaining. I give it a 3.5 out of 5. Definitely recommend checking this one out if you guys have not seen it. The Protege is a fun watch for sure. Unlike the next film I watched, which was on Amazon Prime, is a movie called Bliss. Bliss stars, wow, it's me, wow, Owen Wilson, wow. Owen Wilson and Selma Hayek star in this movie. The movie was incredibly annoying. It was trying to be confusing for the sake of being confusing. It was basically about a guy down in his luck, ends up killing his boss, and then meets a girl in a bar, and she said none of this is real, and it's okay. Felt very much like a ripoff of The Matrix to an extent, so much so that there are like 2 different pills that were colored that do different things, and I was like, I've seen this in a movie 22 years ago, and I wasn't a big fan of it back then. Why is it in a movie now? Not a Matrix fan. Sorry, guys. But the movie basically deals with simulations and alternate realities where people are experiencing things. They're not sure who or what is real or what's going on. The movie left me scratching my head, and that's not a good thing. It wasn't like a thought-provoking film. Didn't really keep me interested and intrigued throughout the movie. Owen Wilson was a weird choice for the lead actor in this movie, in my opinion. Selma Hayek's very unlikable in this movie. And the person I feel the worst for is Bill Nye, who's in this movie in a bit role, but it feels very beneath Bill Nye. He's the science guy after all, and this movie was brutal. Big hot trash alert coming up, guys. Half a star. This is a 2021 release, and I'm recording this the end of October. This is about the third week of October. So, hot trash of the year and my favorites of the year are right around the corner. And at a half star, I have a feeling we'll be talking about this movie again in a few months. So, Bliss, stay away from it. Next up, we watched another movie on Amazon Prime, and it is a film called 7500, which stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt as an airplane pilot. Is an action thriller that pretty much essentially takes place all in the cockpit of an airplane. The plane is hijacked by terrorists. He's in the cockpit. They try to break in the cockpit. He is outstanding in this film. The movie doesn't offer a ton of fresh, single location plot points, honestly. But Joseph Gordon-Levitt is so good in this film that is why I would recommend watching it, because of his performance solely. So basically, 4 terrorists take over a plane with glass and not much more, and it shows what happens throughout the flight and after the flight. The movie has a weird pacing to it where you feel like the movie is getting ready to climax and wrap up. And I checked and I was like, there's still 35 minutes left of this movie, and where is it going? So, but what they did with that extra 35 minutes made it to be like a little not cookie cutter, but it also felt like a weird pacing situation. So, like I said, JGL, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, kills it as the lead in this film. I give 7500 a 3 out of 5. If you're looking for a good performance in a movie, check it out. I can't say much about the movie itself without getting the spoilers. It's pretty predictable, the film, honestly, but his performance is fantastic. So, 3 out of 5. And then last, I finally was able to watch this because I forgot I did not check it out, and was glad to check it out finally, and that is Mortal Kombat on 4K. I actually had very low expectations, heard a lot of negative things about this movie. I think I watched the first one back in the day, but didn't watch any of the other ones like Annihilation or the animated one. I know a lot of people are excited because this was going to be R-rated, and it's based on a mature video game where the movies previously have been PG-13. But I think this movie was super fun. I'm excited. I hope there's a sequel, because what they built up to in this movie, I'm very excited to see paid off in a sequel. Really cool like kill scenes, really cool fight scenes in this movie. I just found it to be really entertaining. A fun watch for sure. The fights were cool. The gore was really cool. There was some humor that really hit for me in this movie. Some of it was awful as well. There were both sides of the coin there. But I give it a 3 out of 5. I recommend Mortal Kombat if you're into like fun fight movies. But like I said, if there's not a sequel to this, I'm going to be highly disappointed, because this movie pretty much is building towards something that's not featured in the film. But to do it properly, they needed to build up to it. So there needs to be a second movie, because they've set up so much for a sequel. So hopefully we get a second movie. But this was fun. 3 out of 5 for Mortal Kombat. That is it, guys. That is everything I watched the third week of October 2021. Not so much spooky movies that week, and that was a lot to do with like Bridget only being around a few days. She went and visited her family. So I watched like Mortal Kombat because I knew she didn't have any interest in that, and 7500 I watched as well because she didn't have interest in that or Bliss. So that's why I watched what I watched, and thank you guys for watching. Watch. Let's see how many times I can say watch. Thank you guys for watching. Check out the description box down below where you can find links to my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, where I rate and review all the movies I watch, my Blu-ray.com profile, Amazon wishlist, eBay store, P.O. Box, and email address can all be found down below. Let me know what you guys have been watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it. Subscribe if you don't do so already, and hit that like button. And until next time, guys, who's down to movie?